Hi everybody, I'm Akal Sahai with Be the Lighthouse, and today we're going to read a little more of Adventures of Light. I love this picture. Anyway, let's let's read part of chapter 2 of the Barren Lands. The Barren Lands consist of little more than endless seas of sand, rock, more sand, and the Dark Horde. It was said that the Horde used their foul magic to bond with the desert and survive in the harshest environment imaginable. It often went years without raining in the Barren Lands, bringing one back to the magic theory. What other answer could there be? Tara and I have always believed in what we could see and feel, and above all else, we have always trusted one another, not just with our lives, but with our deepest and even darkest feelings. She knew everything about me, from my every pain to fear and greatest hope. In spite of all of that, or maybe because of it, she was far and away my closest friend. If I was sane, I probably would have long since married her, but it's never even been a thought, which probably should have been a cosmic level warning, but rather than date, here I was running a running a highly successful business in the most inhospitable environment imaginable. And yes, I can imagine quite a lot. At first light, yet another horn sounded in the distance, and the Horde simply melted into the desert and vanished, leaving behind a staggering number of fallen. The stench was nigh unbearable, yet it was also the most amazing of opportunities. 1L, of course, protested to no end, but I sought for the blessing it truly was, the resource we needed. There was a nigh endless supply of metal in the armor, weapons, and equipment of what remained of the Horde, which would be critical in rebuilding the trading post into the fortress it needed to be. 1L's engineers came up with some fantastic designs, and everyone pitched in with everything from sorting what could be used from what needed to be burned. Tara, however, was excited beyond belief as she announced her discovery. "They have Unchaka!" I exhaled deeply. A great many things made sense at last. What Tara recalled Unchaka was the rarest of all minerals and likely the reason the Barren Lands had been colonized in the first place. It was also highly likely to be what had brought 1L out here, though I knew it was equally unlikely she would admit it. Whatever. I didn't need her to confirm what I already knew. I exhaled again. Work on the fortress was going well. We literally had a mountain of building materials in the form of the metal we had retrieved from the fallen members of the Dark Horde, and the endless amounts of stone the desert was filled with, and thanks to the river, we had an infinite supply of both food and water, which are the two most valuable resources out here. The trading post already had a full forge and smith set up. We expanded it greatly and began our construction on our giant stone and metal fortress by the river. Casualties had been incredibly heavy, but thankfully fatalities had been minimal, and everyone was not only on the mend, but more than eager to lend a hand. Better to be up and about than sitting on your hands. 1L had become the prototypical officer with nothing to command, as everyone, her people included, had long since surrendered to my expertise on all things regarding the Dark Horde. Captain Nobark was good to his word and returned, not only with supplies and reinforcements, but also the largest warships capable of transiting the river, one to guard the fortress and one to escort him back up the river. 1L and I were both paid quite handsomely for helping to rebuild what I termed the Fortress of Light, and the trading post was now an official military post, complete with a complement of troops. So the government suddenly cared a great deal about the Barren Lands, far more than what they ever had. I mean, these were first-rate troops, not the bottom of the barrel they had always sent. I couldn't help but wonder how far the reach of 1L's conglomerate extended and just how powerful they were. Well, they weren't powerful enough to do this on their own, and it was more than obvious they needed yours desperately, and it was more than obvious they needed yours truly, and rather desperately at that. Tara and I decided to see where the metaphorical rabbit hole led us. The matter of the Mancers, however, remained, and the more 1L proclaimed her innocence, the less I was inclined to believe her. The Unchaka was real, but as it was my team and I that had defeated the Horde, it belonged to us. To the victor go the spoils. The Horde possessed such quantities of it that many of them had carried either a nugget or an item crafted from it. I exhaled deeply as we made ready to depart for Hilltop. Tara and I had discussed the issue into the early hours, and I was still undecided on a course of action until I saw 1L and her team preparing to leave with us. I shook my head as I approached. As I approached her, I began. No, the contract's canceled. I tore both the letter and the envelope in half and dropped them at her feet. No payment upon delivery contracts, not out here. My team and I gestured to my crew, took the far greater risk in coming here. I didn't need to mention having saved their hides, and instead gestured to the new and greatly improved trading post to help you confirm your theory about the Unchako you all are here to mine. Teyra, bless her, had figured it all out. She knew something was up and wouldn't let go of it until she figured it out. I loved that about her, and she'd given me the proof I needed. I resumed in the interior courtyard of what was now officially known as the Fortress of Light before all my people, one Ellen hers, and the remain in the staff of the trading post. You didn't just bring one Mancer with you, you brought 3, and then had the sand to lie about it. As far as I'm concerned, you can all walk to Hilltop, and I don't care if I get paid. I don't want anything to do with you. I knew full well they were dust without my crew, and I couldn't have cared less. The punishment for hiding a Mancer was immediate execution, and I wanted to be as far away from these people as soon as possible. The fort had a proper commander now. To say she was furious was to apply a new definition of the term, and I couldn't blame her in the least. She was a career officer and a fine one at that. She, however, was far from her element, as being out in the barren lands does a great many things to you, and not everyone is cut out for it. I thought she'd be okay eventually, but in the meantime, she had a Mancer hunt on her hands, which took priority over everything. It all made sense, though, in the presence of not 1, but 3 Mancers, according to the legends, could have created the nigh-drunken frenzy which drove the Horde to such lengths in their efforts to destroy us. It was said that mancing was an aberration, all that is natural, a description which also fit the Dark Horde. I exhaled again. It didn't make any sense. What was going on here? I think that's a fun little cliffhanger spot to stop at for the day. So you can look inside and order signed copies at my website, which I always have a link in the description below. Always though, know you are surrounded by so much love, infinite love in each and every moment. And I hope you are having the best day ever, because I certainly am. I will see you soon. Satnam.